guys, this is Manu Kalia, physical therapist and Ayurveda herbalist. So I'm going to show you guys some simple foam roller stretches for your upper body essentially. So your spine, the thoracic spine, your rib cage, your shoulder girdle. Okay, very important for improving mobility. If your mid-back, your upper back, shoulder is moving better, a lot easier, whether in terms of having better posture, or also for sports or athletic activities. Okay. So we'll show you a couple of different positions. So first one is, this is just a 3 feet by 6 inch foam roller, and I'm going to be laying on it so it's parallel to my spine. Okay, sit all the way forward, and I lean back so my head is supported. Okay, so the first movement is just getting used to doing some shoulder movement, going up and coming back down. Okay, so just up and down. But what I want to emphasize is, we want to do that with breathing. That's really important, okay, which most people tend to forget. So really incorporating deep inhalation and exhalation, one for oxygenation, second to start getting that intercostals, that rib cage, everything moving up and down, okay, facilitating that extension and flexibility in the whole system. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, I inhale deep, reach up. So I make it not just a simple shoulder movement back and forth, a lot of movement through my rib cage, chest, okay, diaphragm also descending and moving up and down. So that'll really help with flexibility too, as well as improve your breathing capacity. So inhale, deep breath. And I'll reach and I'll stretch. Okay, so that's the up and down, the first part. The second part is going to be, and of course, that's going to get a lot of your lat mobility, your pecs too, your rib cage, your thoracic spine, your shoulder girdle, the shoulder joint itself. And so it'll really help with the upper body mobility. Second thing we're going to do is more snow angels, right, which is going out to the side, especially with tight pecs, forward shoulder or rounded forward head postures. You know, these structures tend to get really tight with lots of sitting and computer work and all those things. So we want to work at opening up things more. Okay. So again, so inhalation, extend. So I went just up to there because some of you guys want to be really tight. You're not going to be able to go past this point. So don't push it. Okay. Take your time. Over time, the flexibility will come. So inhalation, as you get better at it. Okay, let that shoulder go where it wants, in this natural arc and movement. Reach. Okay, now you can do, of course, you can hold those positions too and just hang out and do some deep breathing also. So if you can't go more than that, you can hang out here and just you can do just stretching positions there too. So more static, but then you can work into more dynamic stretching movements also. All right, so that's one where you're parallel to the roller. Now the other one is the roller is perpendicular to my spine. Okay, so I usually tell people to don't go below the rib cage and don't go above the shoulder level. So don't let the roller land on your neck, basically. Okay, always support your head with your hands. So I'm going to have my hands behind my head. I'm going to bring my elbows in. Okay, so if you have restrictions or shoulder issues, and a lot of times it's hard to hold this position, or you're just too stiff, can't do that. So bring your hands in. Now I'm going to just keep one hand here so you guys can kind of see. And what you're doing is you're going to bridge up, you raise up, and I'm essentially rolling back and forth on that roller. Okay, and you can do this on the floor too. Obviously it'll roll a little bit easier on the floor. So back and forth. But it'll be also harder, meaning because the ground isn't as soft. So initially, sometimes I'll have people do it on a bit of a softer surface so it gets more comfortable. Because you can be a little bit stiff through here. Most people tend to be. So a bit uncomfortable initially, but then as you work on it, it'll get easier and easier and easier. Okay, and it'll get looser and you won't feel. You might even hear some cracking, popping as the joints are loosened up in the process. So I'm going to roll back and forth. I go just about where the rib cage ends, and I go up to the top here. So I'm going back and forth, massaging those erector spinae along the path also, as well as the spine, mobilizing those joints. Now the third thing I could always do is I can work just on the extension part, where I'm going to do, again, with breathing, inhalation, I extend, right? So different points, I might go down a little more. So it really improves that flexibility of that spine. And again, my lumbar spine or my hips are down on the ground. So the range isn't really coming much from here, primarily to that thoracic spine, which in most people tends to get, is designed for rigidity and stiffness, but also it tends to become stiff in most people. Okay, so you want to work at improving that flexibility, rib cage, intercostals, just kind of opening up everything. Okay, and I'm again supporting my head, so my neck doesn't feel like it's dangling back, it's not uncomfortable in my neck, and I can stretch, inhale. You can even do a little bit of abdominal work while you're there. As you come back into flexion or come back up, you can kick in your core muscles too. So you can do your flexibility as well as a little bit of strengthening while you're in that position too. All right. So I find this to be quite helpful with a lot of neck-related conditions, shoulder problems also, where if you're trying to work on overhead things, and in addition to the shoulder, a lot of the restriction is because if my thoracic spine is stiff, if I'm rounded through here, mechanically I just cannot get up here. But even if you get adequate range in the shoulder, you're just not going to be able to reach up there because the thoracic spine is stiffened up through here. Thoracic spine being your upper back through here. So if I improve this mobility right away, you can see if I'm rounded forward posture position, it immediately gets me more range in my shoulder. Okay, being able to reach up. So very important if I'm doing overhead, if I'm playing sports or doing other things, or for that matter, reaching up into the cupboard to get something out. Okay, and for cervical spine problems or neck issues. So if I'm constantly in this position and doing work, I'm going to be getting pretty stiff through here. Okay, so remember, the hinge that moves too much one is the one that breaks down, whether it's on the door or whether it's on our spine or anywhere else, any joint. So if I'm too stiff through my thoracic spine, upper back, hypermobility, excessive mobility at my cervical spine, C5, C6, C6, C7 usually are the lower spine vertebrae tend to get more problematic, just like L4-5, L5-S1 in the lumbar spine tends to wear out more in most people. So hypermobility going on at those joints because there's excessive hypomobility on these other structures. Okay? So you've got to restore this mobility in order for me to be able to sit up straight and get up in these positions. It's very important. Most people forget that. Yeah, you can work on these things, but you gotta find out the cause and remove those problems too. Okay? So remember, it's the whole system works together. So I think this is a really effective stretch, and just make sure not to push too hard initially, and so you might get sore otherwise. So careful when you do the stretches, and if you have any major conditions or problems, nerve root issues going on, always clear by your physician or your physical therapist before attempting any of these things. And I hope you found that helpful. So click on the link below, check out my site for more info, and leave a comment if you have any questions, subscribe to the channel, and thank you.